Okay, guys, welcome. Thanks for attending the webinar. So, as you probably have heard, Microsoft has changed the way they're licensing Dynamics 365. So this will maybe have an impact on your existing customer and will surely have an impact on the new Dynamics 365 sales that you're going to do, mainly around the plans that were existing before. So this is the reason for this webinar. We're going to be presenting today. So let me introduce you, Cyril Couret, Product Manager here at SureWeb.
Hi, everyone.
And myself, Joël Seguin, Technical Solution Manager for Dynamics 365. So let's start right away. Oh, and by the way, guys, just wanted you to know, if you want to download the presentations, they're available right now within the presentation in the attach. What's the name of the
handout?
The handout section. Thanks. Right, so let's start. So I just told you about the purpose of this webinar. So we're going to review the business application licensing changes for the October FY20 release. And the topics we're going to cover today is going to be the packaging changes, the PowerApps and flow plan update, and how you will transition your existing customer. And at the end, we'll have a question and answer section. So, about SureWeb. SureWeb was born in the cloud in 1998. We have over 7,000 partners around the world and 50,000 organizations worldwide. We're about 800 people in our staff. We have Microsoft certified experts. We have multiple data centers in the US and Canada with different certifications. We're a Microsoft indirect cloud solution provider, so a CSP in US and Canada. We won multiple prizes, as you can see for the rest of the presentation. I won't go all of those. You may want to read through all of those, stating that we are doing our work as best as we can with the Microsoft stack. All right, so let's start with Cyril. I'll let Cyril pick it up from now. He's going to introduce the packaging changes.
Yeah, so today is not about SureWeb, but it's good to always have a quick presentation.
There we go.
Really here, it's helping you understand the new licensing, the way you're going to transact your existing customer. So when we look at the previous licensing, everything that is previous is prior October 1st. In the previous model, that's what they call plans. So Dynamics 5 plan was including all the different applications. Then after you had a customer engagement plan or unified operation plan, depending on what you wanted. And those plans actually, they were really the hero SKU. Most of the customers, they were on those one, but according to Microsoft, most of customers, they were leveraging only one or two applications. So part of the new vision is really how to better serve customer, and according to them, plan wasn't the best one. One of the first things that was including in those plan, it was for customer engagement, was a tiered price. So as many users you have, the price was going down. And also another one was that the application finance and operation was only available under the unified operation plan. So here, let's have a look at what actually is changing in the new licensing. So if we look only at customer engagement, they killed the plan, okay? So now you cannot have anymore this one at 115. There is a new motion that they call that the a la carte. It's good for me, like I don't need to fake a French accent on this one. So a la carte, sales motion. So we're going to describe what is on that. Just before jumping, this new pricing is started like 15 days ago, so 2 weeks ago. All the previous price have been removed from all the price list. I mean, the tiered pricing doesn't exist anymore, and now user can go on the new model. So let's have a look at the new model. So now, pretty easy, no plan. Every user need to get a first application that we call the base license. So let's say that if you look at the first one, a single app user, for example, is a salesperson, use only sales application, is going to get the sales apps. Now let's look at another user using sales and customer service, One of the two apps will be the base license at $95, sorry, and the attached license will be at $20. If you need a third application, the third app will be $20. The vision of this model is really to encourage customer to get the app they need and actually grow inside. One of the main reason Microsoft killed the app is that it was giving the wrong message and actually
Kill the plan.
Yeah, kill the plan. So it was driving the wrong message and actually getting discussion on pricing directly, you know. So why do I need a plan if I can go on an app? And actually, according to them and feedback from partners, it was driving the discussion in the wrong direction. So really this model is to help on drive the discussion on better together price, you know, like one app and two app and so on and so on.
Better value and
better value. And I think another one also, like the attached license is going to be technically enforced, like they technically enforced the team member a while ago. So that's going to help everyone, I think, on that.
Yeah. And just as a quick note, I had some discussions with some partners around that change, and some of them were a bit concerned about the fact that if you had 3 or more application, pricing was going up compared to the price of the plan. But if you look around the competition out there, when you start adding some options, it's the same type of pricing structure. So Microsoft is still very competitive with what's out there. It's just a matter of understanding the licensing model of let's say, not to name them, but let's say Salesforce. And when you start looking at their price model, Microsoft is still very competitive with this pricing model.
All the pricing that you see on your screen, it's US dollar, just to confirm that. So now when we look at the customer engagement application customer pricing, yeah, there is like it's a bit confusing name. So what you need to remember is that the base license is $95. Every additional app called attached, it's a $20. You still have the device price per device, and team members is untouched.
You always have to remember that the base app must be the most expensive app within the bundle that you're getting. So keep that in mind, because we're not seeing Sales Professional on this side here. Just keep in mind you can't get Sales Professional at $65 and attach Customer Service Enterprise, for example, that is $95. You just have to keep in mind that the most expensive application has to be the base application.
So now if we look at the unified operation plan, main feedback was coming from partner and customer again, that the finance and operation was including too much in one single SKU, that there were no capability to actually split those one.
And it included talent and retail.
Yeah, it included talent and retail. Yeah, so the plan wasn't responding to customer needs. So the way Microsoft answered to that is actually split finance and operation in 2 modules, one being finance and one being supply chain management. Again, on the usage, according to what Microsoft could see, most of the user, they were leveraging 1 or 2 application, and they believe that this new model will better answer to what they were looking for. What is interesting here in this table, you can see kind of the module or purpose of the different application. So that's pretty interesting to have that, and that can be pretty handy. Okay, so now same slide than the previous one for customer engagement. The base license is 180. Every attached license, it's an additional $30. There is something about talent, right?
Right. So talent cannot be used as an attached model. So you need to buy talent for what it is. So it's a 5-seat minimum at $40 per seat. So it doesn't change than what it was in the past.
And same restriction than before. The minimum, okay, so 20 seats minimum, that is still there in the new licensing.
Yeah, so supply chain management, finance, or retail, you need to buy 20 seats minimum. Once you've gotten your base license, you can add the other ones.
Okay, so let's have a look at summary, and I think this slide is going to be very handy. Again, you can download it, or maybe just a quick screenshot. That's actually the, let's say, the new price list in a way. So remember, base license for customer engagement, unified operation. When you need another application, actually you go to the attached license. Anything else to add on that, Joel?
Might touch upon the fact that marketing, for some of you remember, marketing was a free application that was given out when you had the customer engagement plan and you had 10 users. You were getting the free marketing app with 2,000 contacts. So that has completely disappeared. So now with the new model, you need to get either marketing at full price, or if you have a minimum of 10 seats of any enterprise solution, let's say sales enterprise, customer service enterprise, field service, or sales pro, customer service pro, and even project service automation, then you can add an attached model to marketing, which cuts the price in half at $750. You still have to keep in mind though that you need 10 seats minimum to get that one. So the free marketing application that was available before doesn't exist anymore. Oh, no, one quick note though, just as you can see at the bottom, project service automation doesn't exist as an attached offer. So if you're getting, if you need to get a PSA, you will need to pay for it at full price, and then you can attach the other modules that you might need.
So here are some scenarios, and I think it's really helping to understand. So the customer must purchase the higher price business application as the base license. That makes sense. So every customer will get one of the base, being, for example, sales or being unified operation. What you see on the two scenarios at the end that they don't work, scenario 4, the reason it doesn't work is that when you take unified operation, or if you take one of the app, unified operation must and always be the base license, okay? For the good reason that this is the most expensive SKU, and also you need to respect the quantity, minimum quantity of 20.
It's a bit funny that they're still calling it unified operation in this slide, but as you saw a bit earlier, it's either finance or supply chain management. Unified operation, the name doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's Microsoft and naming, you know.
Yeah, there we go.
It's always a good story. Let's call that project matter, right? And by the way, the new licensing, and maybe we could have cleared that in the beginning, doesn't impact Business Central, okay? So for all the NIV guys and more the ERP business, new licensing in October didn't change anything in Business Central. So now in this slide, what we see is really any new customer starting October 1st are automatically on the new licensing. That's super clear. So now it's based, attached, and so on.
So just so you know, I had multiple questions on this in the last weeks. You can't buy unified operation plan anymore. You can't buy customer engagement plan anymore, and you can't buy plans, the full plan anymore. These are not available for customers that weren't existing customers before. So any new customer is transacting on a new licensing model that we just saw.
And like we say, it's technically enforced. So when we create the customer on our side, there is nothing we can do. The offer doesn't exist for those guys. For existing customer, the current term are not changed. The way it's working in this beautiful CSP world is that as soon as you get a subscription, it's a 1-year agreement. So all your customer, in last time they renew the license, that's called their current term, it will renew on this date. Once there are the FY20 renewal, here the idea is really trying to understand how you can provide the best price. For example, if they were in a plan, what application they were using, and after going on the right base and the right attached to provide the best pricing.
So your role as a partner is to identify what people were using, if they were using any plans that was available. So maybe reach out to your customer before their renewal date. So as Cyril just explained, the date at which they purchased their Dynamics 365, that's called the renewal date. So let's say they had bought it In August, well, they'll be keeping the same application as they have right now. So unified operation, customer engagement plan, all of these plans will remain active until August 2020, for example, if they had bought it in August or any other month. So keep that in mind. So before the renewal date, you need to find out what they were using, and then you'll be able to provide the applications that they were using, and the ones that they were not, then you can just remove them.
And also the application are the same, right?
Right.
Here what we're speaking is licensing, but also between based and attached, even if there is this big difference of pricing, the application is exactly the same.
Exactly.
In terms of transition, qualified offer, so let's say that you had existing customer that they were on the customer engagement plan, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. Here the kind of qualified offer that you will be able to get at renewal. So for example, we can see on tier 2, the attached license will be $10 instead of 20. And we see also qualified offer for base license on tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5. For unified operation existing customers, the qualified offer they have is that the attached license will be $15 instead of being $30.
Yeah.
In terms of the moving a customer from on-prem to cloud, so Microsoft tried to simplify it. Before it was the from SA, it was from cloud add-on. It was like 2, 3 different, very, very confusing. So Microsoft, what they did, they are keeping this 40% discount for a customer coming from on-prem to cloud. Now they are all called from SA, and all the dynamic SKUs are available. So just as an example, an existing on-prem customer with Dynamics 365, Dynamics CRM on premises can get the standard license will be Dynamics 365 Sales, and the SKU will be called from SA. There is a link here that is the partner licensing decks that really explain the transition, the condition, and so on. If you have trouble to connect, go in the handout. We also upload this document. So maybe take it. It's going to help you if you have existing customer on-prem. And again, we say it every time, but be sure that it's you that's bringing to your on-prem customer that there is a cloud version that's way better user interface, better user experience, because those customers, they are the ones that are the most at risk.
Yeah, and the quick note, but the AI is by itself really worth it. So the time is pretty much now to go and see your customer and provide them with the info that there's a 40% discount to upgrading to the cloud, for upgrading to the cloud, because we don't know how long Microsoft will keep that promotion. So you might as well take action now and make your your customer benefit from it.
Quick question, actually, I think doing the QA in the same time, like it's helping.
Yeah.
So someone was asking, is there any other licensing resources than just the licensing guide? When you have questions, what's the best way to find out the answer and get validation?
Yeah, so the licensing deck, as I'm guessing this question comes from the fact that the licensing deck doesn't answer everything. There are other sources where you can find answers. One of those is basically reaching out to your account manager that will leverage us. We will be able to find some answers for you. We also, if it's something that's very difficult to find, we have access to Microsoft. We can provide answers to very difficult questions. And there's also a FAQ that Microsoft created. We can provide the link. I'm not sure how we can provide that link.
I can put it maybe in the chat, but I really think like the real licensing guide, like I don't know what, 40 to 60 pages, that's really going to give you 90%. After, like you say, Joel, the account manager, the way we do it is we go to Yammer. Most of the time we find the answer, and if really we cannot find something, we have contacts. But licensing guide, I think you can go really pretty far with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of answers in there. Okay, any other questions before I begin PowerApps and Flow?
Let me check. Yeah, we're getting question. Okay, are you aware of the promotion 25% discount on Dynamics 365?
Yeah, that's for Sales Pro. That promotion is, as it is now, it's only in the US. There might be a renewal of that promotion.
So this promo in US is ending this month.
Yeah, that's the last month.
I'm not sure they're going to renew. It was a corporate promo, but we heard last week that they're going to make one for Canada, right?
Yeah, it might, it wasn't confirmed, but that same promo might be coming to Canada and maybe relaunch for the US. We're not sure. So we can confirm now, we don't have the answer.
Until there, you have the 25% on Sales Professional until end of October.
It's a 10 license minimum.
Yeah, 10 license minimum and must be in US. So you have questions, just ask your account manager, and Joel and I and the rest of the Dynamics team, we can help on that. Let me see.
So we're doing the question and answers at the same time. So
maybe go on. I will screen out.
It's fun. If you want to maybe take one more before I begin PowerApps and Flow. And thanks for asking question, guys. It's always
okay. Do
fun.
You have any dedicated support team for licensing questions?
Yeah, anything that is pre-sales, our Dynamics team will take care of that. So we do have answers on anything around licensing. So if you just reach out to your account manager, they will poke the right people within the team, and we can all get on calls and explain the licensing. That's not a problem. We can help you also figure out that customer situation.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's go on, and we'll keep the other question for the QA.
All right, so not sure how many of you are doing PowerApps now and Flow. As you probably know, PowerApps, Flow, there's just a quick recap. If you change from an on-premise model to a cloud model, you're building your practice around a new model that is not providing a lot of margin. So you need to figure out ways to make more money. PowerApps and Flow is part of that solution. Basically, with PowerApps, you can create tailored applications to your end customers' needs and charge for it. So build those applications, create exactly the added value that you're supposed to be worth as a Dynamics partner. Same thing for Flow. So there's been changes with these two applications. So let's go and see what happened with the licensing update. I, for one, think Microsoft went in the right direction with this. Before, you had different plans and they had limits on what you could do. It was a bit complicated. You just didn't know which connectors you had access to and what premium connectors were available. So it was a bit complicated for those of you who've played with it in the past. So this is the new plan. The base one is called the PowerApps per app plan. What this lets you do for $10 per app per month is that you can allow individual users to run application for a specific business scenario based on the full capability of PowerApps. So you now don't have any limits within the PowerApps. You can create custom work for that user. For those users, they'll be able to run one application. It's actually two because you have Canvas and model driven. So basically you can have two applications, but that's the limit. You can't do more than one app per user. So, and one other thing is that you get access to a portal. You remember the portals that were available in the past were costing something around $500 per month, if I remember correctly. Now they're included with your PowerApps plan. The second license, as you can see, is $40 per month. This is the equivalent of the PowerApps Plan 2 that existed in the past. With that one, you can run unlimited application based on the full capabilities of PowerApps. So if you need to create multiple applications for people, let's say on the shop floor and people maybe on the retail store, and you want to create different applications, the $40 one is the best one. And then you still have your seeded PowerApps that comes with Office 365 and Dynamics 365. Difference are now that it limits you to functionalities based off the main application. What I mean by that, if you have a Dynamics for Sales license, for example, you get your seeded PowerApps. You can create a Power App that leverage entities within the sales application. You cannot run field services in your Power App, for example. So keep that in mind. The seeded PowerApps is still there. You can't run applications in Office. You can't run application with anything outside of what you've got it with. Oh, one thing, minimum purchase requirement is eliminated for PowerApps per app plan. So you can now buy only one. So portal licensing. This one is a bit complicated. So I believe that I won't go through the whole slide. I guess that you're going to get the slide with the handout. So keep it close if you need to figure it out. So basically what it means now is that there's an additional cost per number of logins for external users. So these external users are outside the company. They authenticate themselves. They log in on a 24-hour basis. So once they've logged in, that's considered as one login. So there's a cost. If you need to add some more, you see the costs here. So if you need to add a lot more logins per user, there's different pricing. So if you get someone that needs to have external people logging in their PowerApps, and you need to figure this out, we'll do it on a case-by-case basis, because if I start explaining it, it's going to be a bit complicated. And I've went through the training with Microsoft, and by the end, I was a bit confused. When I read this, it's a bit more clear. So we'll do it on a case-by-case basis, but keep it handy if you need to address this for a customer. Flow. Also very interesting what they did. So basically with Flow now you have the two plans as before. So one is licensed by user for $15 per month. So it equips an individual user to create unlimited workflows, which is really great, and business processes based on their unique needs. So if you need to create some flows for yourself, you get that license. If you need to create workflow for your organization, then you get the per flow license, which is $100 per month, per flow per month. You can buy a minimum, you need to buy a minimum of 5 flows. So that makes it at $500 per month. But then you can create workflows for everybody within the organization. So you can implement, as you see in the text, implement critical business processes with capacity that serves teams, departments, or the entire organization without individually licensing end users. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think Microsoft went in the right direction with this. And same thing as with PowerApps, you get the seeded flow, which is limited to the application that you're using it with. Okay, PowerApps and flow within Dynamics 365. So this one is exactly what I was saying. I don't think I'm going to read through all this slide. As you can see, it's quite a big one, but keep in mind what you see on the left, PowerApps use rights. So it's applicable. This is with the seeded PowerApps. So you can see your PowerApps that comes with your Dynamics 365 provides these use rights that are named here. So if you want to read through those, you'll be able to figure it out by yourself, or you can reach out to us and we'll help you out. But this really explains well what each of these applications will provide as a seeded application. If what you want to do is not what you see in the seeded application, then this is where you'll be buying those plans that we talked about at $10 and $40 for PowerApps and $15 to $500 for the Flow application. Right. I think this covers pretty much everything around what needs to be understood with Flow and PowerApps. So you're going to see here the transition for existing Dynamics 365 customers. So who's grandfathered? Basically, same thing as we explained earlier. It's a 12-month plan, 12-month engagement when you're getting PowerApps or Flow. So you have 12 months in front of you before you need to transact to the new model. But in this case, maybe compared to Dynamics 365, I think it's probably worth it to move to the new model. So that could be done also. You can remove your existing licenses and move to the new model if it makes sense for you. So if you have any PowerApps and Flow that you're using right now, it might be worthwhile to sit down and see how your customers using it, and can we do any better with the new applications. So we are now back at the Q&A that we were supposed to do at the end, and I think Cyril has been typing ferociously answering questions, but we might take a couple of those.
Yeah, so let me take one by one. We got a lot. So on the promotion, so I got a question on the existing promotion and end of October, new customer only.
Yep.
Minimum of 10 users.
That's for the Sales Pro. Yep.
Yeah. And I think there is even a requirement that they need to already have Office 365.
That was mentioned by Microsoft.
I don't think it's reinforced, right?
No, I don't
Okay.
think it's reinforced, and we didn't say that, so keep that between all of us and everybody else.
Yeah, we'll cut that part of the recording. In terms of are we going to keep people up to date on the new promo? So definitely going to be that, going to be part of the newsletter, and also LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn announcement to let you know when the promo, if the promo is renewed or if the promo arrive in Canada. That will be the way to keep you informed.
And if this promo comes, take a good look at Sales Pro. It's an interesting application, and at that price point, it's a no-brainer.
Okay, someone like to, if you can go back maybe to the slide where we have, you know, when we show all the summary with all the apps. Someone has a question. Okay, so this person.
This one?
Yeah, so this person need actually to have 20 license, 15 for finance, and 5 for supply chain management. Sorry, the question is, do I still need to buy 20 license, or can I buy 15 plus 5?
Yeah, the answer is yes. You still need to buy your 20 licenses minimum of finance, and then you can add the 5 supply chain management.
Okay, so for this person, 20 finance, and after 5 attached of the supply chain management.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of information out there from Microsoft on this, so I think maybe you've had trouble finding answers for those, but yeah, that's the way that they're going to work. So base license must need to be 20 seats minimum.
Okay. In terms of, we're jumping from a subject to another. Sure. In terms of project service automation, so we say there is no attached SKU. Yep. Right? But can you still attach other SKU to project service automation?
Absolutely. So you get your, it's just that you're going to need to pay $95 for your PSA. Then you can attach all the other ones. So sales, customer service, field service, marketing, Sales Pro, customer service pro.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, question on PowerApps, just for you to switch your brain on the right topic. So I would like to provide access to PowerApp to my user, internal user, and I will configure PowerApp for Dynamics 365 CRM sales. Should we buy PowerApp license or Dynamics 365 for sales license?
Well, if you're using only entities that are inside the D365 for sales, you can get that one if the user needs full capability of what's inside sales, and then they need part of those functionalities maybe as a Power App. So let's say they work in an office and then they need to go outside the office, and then they will need just a basic application that runs entities from the solution, then that makes sense. If you don't want to provision Dynamics 365 for sales, then you can get the $10 one, $10 SKU, and then build what you need out of the, because what you're getting is access to all the data, the common data model. So everything is there, all the entities are available. You just need to build your application as you see fit. So if $10 makes more sense for what they need, then you can go that way. But just remember, if you need to rebuild so much functionality out of PowerApps that it becomes restrictive and takes too much time, you might be better off with the full sales apps.
Don't you have any PowerApps included in your Dynamics 365 license?
Yes, but you need to use it within that context.
Okay. Okay. You cannot go
so you cannot go
outside.
You cannot go and surface some functionality in SharePoint. Let's say if you're in Dynamics 365, you're stuck with what you have. So that's when the licensing makes sense. They license the $10 SKU.
Good. Let me see, what else do we have here?
There's a lot of questions coming, and keep them coming.
Okay, if customer need Business Central and Power BI, so we're a bit out of the, but it's good, it's still a licensing session. So this person want to add Power BI and leverage that with Business Central.
Yep.
What are the scenario where you actually need to get a license for Power BI?
If you want to share your Power BI, if you want other people within the company to get access to Power BI that you're creating dashboards in, you would need to license it for these people. But yourself, as a Business Central user, you get a free Power BI license. It's just that you cannot share those dashboard with anybody else within the company.
Okay. Again, on the promo, next time I will combine all the questions.
No problem.
The promo is really related to being an existing Office 365 users, but like we say, they didn't reinforce that. So as soon as there are a new sales professional, I would say a new Dynamics actually, as soon as there are a new Dynamics customer, they are eligible for the US promotion.
But see it as a cross-selling option also. Using Dynamics without Office 365 is limiting yourself with so much additional features. So you might want to look into licensing some Office 365 with your Dynamics at all time. It makes so much sense.
Okay. Question, like I think there is a bit of confusion on the, let me see, on that. So someone has 20 users that they will use sales. And the question is to know, do you need to do 30 times the sales at 95 or once 195 and 29 $20? So like you see on this slide, every single customer need a base license, so every users need a base license. So those 30 salesperson, they will require the $95 license. But let's say that 3 of them also use ticket management, knowledge, and so on. Those guys, they will get an attached SKU for customer service at $20. So keep in mind, every user need a base license prior to be able to get the attached. And actually, inside the platform, there will be technical restriction that you cannot assign if you don't have the base.
Yeah, but one thing interesting, and I just want to write off of that a bit, is I'll piggyback. Is just that the PowerApps that I was talking about at $10 per user, this can make sense within a company. So quickly, so let's say you need 30 sales licenses, but you have 5 people within those 30 that needs only, I don't know, create new accounts and enter new leads. That's all that they do. They don't need anything else. Well, it might make way more sense to get these 5 users a PowerApps $10 license and create that application from PowerApps. And remember, PowerApps quite easy to do. It's a drag and drop solution. You might need a bit of there's no code per se, so it's quite easy to learn. And then for these users, you create exactly what they need, so you don't need to pay that $95, and they will access the same data as anybody else. So they will have the same functionalities that everyone else would have, but only limited to what they do on a day-to-day basis. If you need more explanation on that, we'll be able to explain it in a discussion on the phone.
Okay, good. I think we answered most of the question. So here, I'm just going to, there is a quick poll. If you think that you want to speak directly with one of the Dynamics consultant, just answer yes, and we'll be sure to follow this week.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you have questions, keep sending them. We can keep answering offline. So don't be shy. I think we managed to keep that under an hour. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So any word to end this session, Joel?
While we're drinking our coffee, and yeah, I think one thing we have to keep in mind is Microsoft has been changing a bit the licensing in the last 2 years since Dynamics 365 came out, 3 years even. But in the end, I think it makes a lot of sense what they're trying to build with the PowerApps option. You can now think differently. You don't need all just full SKUs. You can really match what everybody is doing within a company at different costs. So it makes a lot of sense. It gets a bit confusing though. That's why we're here. That's why we have account managers that are available to you guys. So use us. We're there to help you out, and we'll find and we'll explain the answers to you very clearly. And yourself, anything else to add?
It's October, it's fall, there is new licensing. That's it's always like that with Microsoft, I don't think there is massive change. I like the approach of the attached, even if I like the plan. I think what will be a bit challenging for you partners is having the discussion on actually what application they use. how many team members actually could be full user or should maybe downsize to team member. That there is a discussion that's a bit hard. What is good, I think, in a technical way, everything that is Dynamics now, it's on the Power Platform, most of those things. So now we can see that most of the tenants move there, and there will be way more information. So for example, on storage, if your storage actually used by log or used by attachment, what application is used. So I think if you didn't yet explore the Power Platform, it's pretty powerful. And I think that's really giving way more visibility to partners, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, it makes your added value way more interesting, because if you reach out to all of your customers that have Dynamics 365 and say, and by the way, Microsoft just changed the licensing model to have something that is more tailored to your needs, we might schedule a meeting with you and go and see what you're using, what everybody is using, and maybe provide a kind of the transition plan for what will be happening in the near future when you need to switch over to the new model. Well, you're going to be proving your worth, and it might be a great opportunity for you to start selling some PowerApps that you're going to make some money off building these PowerApps, and maybe offer different services that SureWeb has to offer. Might be good to even, I'm going off on tangent, but you can start selling PBX, you can start selling other products. So this will open up some discussions for you as partners.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody have a great day, and don't hesitate to send us your question. We'll be glad to help you. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.